Pistons fans got their first impression of Holland and Bobi Klintman, the Pistons' two draft picks this past NBA draft in the Summer League. We're going to talk about what we saw from them and other things from Summer League in today's episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast.
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's the deal? Welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Per usual, I'm your host, Kuka Hill. You can find me over on Twitter at Kuka Hill. I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more as playoffs wind down or have winded down. The sports stop sporting like we want them to. But this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com to get started today. In today's episode, we'll be talking about Holland, obviously, and Bobi Klintman, the first impressions of the Detroit Pistons rookies. Also want to talk about some other quick Summer League reactions to just the first game. And then also the Pistons, we've seen some assistant coach hirings over the last few days. We have a few names that will be joining JB Bickerstaff and his staff in Detroit. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later as well. But just to give you guys complete transparency here, now, I'm recording this during halftime of the Pistons' second Summer League game. This Summer League game the Pistons are playing is probably the roughest Summer League game I've ever witnessed. Like it's horrible. I couldn't watch it any longer. I don't think anyone's watching this game any longer. From everything I saw a lot of Pistons fans check out. There's no need to watch this second game. This second game is truly horrific. It's some of the worst basketball I've ever seen. And with Holland, who did not play in this game due to rest, I know there is some rumblings that he wasn't playing because of a thumb injury. That is not the case. He is not playing due to rest because the Pistons play back-to-back. Play today, which is the 15th, but then they play again tomorrow on the 16th. So they want him to be ready for the second day. Don't ask me whether I agree with that or not. Resting in Summer League is certainly a decision, but he is not hurt or anything. He will be playing on the 16th. But with him not playing in this game against the Rockets, and with how bad the game has been, I'm not watching this game. I don't suggest any of you guys to watch the game either. There's nothing to take away here. But a game that there was to take away some from was the first game in Summer League with the Detroit Pistons when they went up against the Philadelphia 76ers team. They lost this game 94-81. On the other side, you got to see Jared McCain, their first-round pick. You got to see a little bit of former Piston R.J. Hampton, even though he left the game early with an injury. But really on the other squad, another guy you guys got to watch that was playing really well, really impressed me was Aluma. 19 points, 8 rebounds. He was incredible for the Sixers. He was probably one of the bigger standouts from this game. He was pretty impressive. But that was from the other side. From the Pistons side, obviously you got to see Holland and Bobi Klintman. So obviously we're going to start with Ron because he was the Pistons' first-round pick. He is the 5th overall pick for the Detroit Pistons. What did we see from him in this game? Well, I think on the positives, you saw the flashes of the two-way impact, his ability to play on the offensive end and on the defensive end. His motor was nonstop. He was constantly going. The end of the game was 15 points, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks, 2 steals, or 2 assists, and 1 steal in this game. He shot 5 of 15 from the floor, 0 of 2 from deep. He did get to the free throw line 6 times and made 5 of them. But the immediate reaction I had to his first game was that you saw the flash of the two-way impact. And that is by far, I think, clearly what the Pistons are going for, to have big wings that are two-way players. Even during this second game, before I cut it off, JB Bickerstaff was on the broadcast, and he was talking about how the Pistons are looking at the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals and how they had size everywhere and the ability to play both ways of the floor, and also guys who were willing passers. And I think you saw that from, obviously, Cade. You see that from Sasser. And I think you saw a little bit of that instantly with Holland, his ability to play both ways. So that's the positive. The other positive, he is, what's the right word? Aggressive, I feel like doesn't do it enough justice. He is relentless. That's the word. Relentless at going to the basket. Now that's going to be part of the negatives we'll get into, but a positive is that he is absolutely relentless at getting to the basket, and that translates to 6 free throw attempts, which he made 5 of them. So I think he's going to generate a lot of free throws because he goes straight into the body of guys. He's not scared of contact. He's very physical. And again, like I said, he is relentless, explosive when he gets towards the basket. He doesn't matter that he can't shoot right now. Doesn't matter if guys play off of him. He finds a way to get to the basket, and he's going to do it ferociously, and he's going to be relentless about it. So that was the other positive I saw from him in the first Summer League game. I also like the fact that he hit 5 of 6 of his free throws. But outside of that, I want to flip to some of the negatives I saw from his game. Some things that you saw instantly that he needs to improve on. One is obviously his outside shot. His outside shot is a bit of a work in progress, more than a work in progress, I think. Didn't look comfortable on a lot of his on the 3-point jump shots. We knew that this was something he was going to have to improve on, and you saw that in the first game. The other thing, going back to the driving to the rim, where I said he's relentless, part of that is there's a line between relentless and chaotic and out of control. And he had 2 turnovers in this game. Both turnovers were from him forcing it to the basket and stumbling a little bit, losing control of the ball, running into multiple bodies, not having anywhere to go. So while you love the fact that he's relentless and is able to get to the rim, which is one of the positives of him as a slasher, you see that he's going to have to develop the decision-making, knowing when to go, when not to go, when to, slow down a little bit. That's something that you saw instantly in the half-court offense in the Summer League. He oftentimes drove himself into tough positions, which either led to a turnover or led to one of his 10 misses, where he was taking a very tough shot because he drove into a lot of people. I also feel like his vision, I think he's a willing passer. I think you saw him be a willing passer. But I think he also needs to improve upon his vision and his ability to make next-level reads. Obviously, this is just one Summer League game, and this is stuff I feel like a lot of people knew about him already. But I'm just pointing out what you immediately saw from him. You immediately saw the two-way impact ability, his ability to get to the basket, his ability to draw free throws, his ability to try hard on defense. Even on the glass, you saw him get a few rebounds, like I said, right after the Pistons drafted him. You're going to see a lot of those rebounds like a SAR, where it's like, how did he even get that rebound? He had a few of those already in the first game. So definitely some positives, definitely some negatives that you see that he has to improve on. But that's, when in a raw prospect, a young, very young prospect, that's expected in his first Summer League game. It's probably going to be expected in his first rookie season. So I think he was just about what you expected from him in this first game. So that's my takeaways from Ron Holland. Bobi Klintman, though. Now, I'll say this. Bobi impressed me more than Ron. And let me be very clear about this. I am not saying Bobi over Ron. I'm just talking about this specific game. When you're talking about my bigger takeaways, it was Bobi Klintman. He really impressed me in this game, in this first game for the Detroit Pistons. He had 13 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, a steal, 5 of 10 from the floor, 3 of 7 from deep. So just real quickly, I want to run through what we saw from him. Immediately, he impressed me as an off-ball playmaker. His ability to – now, his 5 assists didn't come from him isoing guys or doing pick and roll and making a cross-court skip pass. He's not that kind of playmaker. But his playmaking off-ball was really impressive. He kept the ball moving. He made the right read very quickly. There was a pass he made in this game along the baseline. He was right around the block. I forget who it was, but someone dumped it off to him. As soon as he caught the ball, immediate touch pass to a cutting big man. I believe his name is Tolu Smith on the Pistons Summer League team. He was cutting down the middle. As soon as Bobi caught the ball, immediate touch pass. Didn't take a second to try to read the floor. Didn't try to do his own thing. Immediate touch pass, got him a wide open dunk. Fantastic pass. He had a few other ones just like that, where he's making immediate quick reads with the ball. It's not off of self-created looks. It's off-ball playmaking. So I know a lot of people may be asking, how can you have off-ball playmaking? Off the ball, how can you playmake if you don't got the ball? Off-ball playmaking is you're not the one creating like the self-created look. You're getting the ball off, someone else is initiating the action. You get the ball when you're off the ball. You're moving off the ball. And as soon as you catch it, you're making a quick play. That's what he was impressing me with a lot. A lot of quick touch passes, a lot of quick extra passes, made the right read. I loved it. I think that is big time for your half-court offense. Someone that can play off ball and make quick reads like that and keep the ball moving. He showed that. I really like that from him. His shot looks really nice. Like his actual jump shot is very beautiful. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Very clean. And he hit 3 of his shots in that game. Now, at halftime of this game, he's currently 3 from deep. We'll talk about that just a little bit later. But in this first game, really impressed me. Really, really impressed me. His ability to hit open threes, his ability to make the right pass, his ability to make the right cut. There was a few cuts in this game where he didn't even score. He made the quick slot cut from the right wing, cut right down that slot at the perfect time, and it creates an open corner 3 for his teammate because he's absorbing the defense from the help side. They have to come down to his cut, and now the kick out corner pass is wide open. You have to do that at the right time. It requires timing. It requires recognition, court awareness. So overall, I think his IQ on the offensive end of the floor in the half court as an off-ball player really popped for me with Bobi. Obviously, I think his defense, you can see more on. Hopefully, we can see more defensively. And on the glass, you can see he's a little fragile and he's not the greatest rebounder at this point. There's negatives with him, and obviously, him as a finisher isn't that great. But the off-ball, his off-ball awareness, his ability to be an off-ball player really just popped to me. So that's my 2 big takeaways from the first Summer League game. Let me know if you guys have any other takeaways. We're going to talk about a few other ones, including talking about a recent Detroit Pistons draft pick that is not helping his case to remain on this team this season and be any part of the rotation if he is a part of the team. I love sports. I've loved them my whole life. I've played them my whole life. I love them so much. I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs have winded down, we obviously get fewer games. And the sports aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up any bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. As I've told you guys many times, a few years ago when betting became legal in Michigan, I didn't know where to go. I wanted to try out something. I tried out FanDuel, and I have not turned back since. It's extremely fun, extremely self-explanatory, and super easy to use. So again, head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. That's what FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We're free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, please. We're on our way to 10,000 subscribers. We got to be the 10th channel, the 10th Locked On NBA channel to reach 10,000 subscribers. If we are not, I'm going to be incredibly sad. So please hit that subscribe button if you have not already. I'd really appreciate it. Or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on, whether that be Spotify, Google Play Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Sounds, wherever you guys are listening to this, leave us a 5-star review. I really would appreciate it. And also, if you haven't already, check out the last episode with Ashton, Kate Cunningham's trainer. I think all the Pistons community know who Ashton is. He came up to the house. We recorded together. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed recording with him. Really enjoyed talking with him. He's a really cool dude. And I think you guys will really love it if you guys haven't checked it out already. It's super, super fun episode. I really enjoyed it. So go check it out if you haven't already. But now I want to kind of get into some other Summer League reactions. Before I get into the main one, I do want to say I referenced earlier that we get into how Bobi is struggling a little bit in the second game through one half, which I'm not watching the rest of the second half. It's pitiful. I'm not reading so much into this game for him because something you saw in the first half, which I'm assuming you'll probably see in the second half, is not going to change. He looks better when he's not being how do I want to put this? When there's other people on the floor creating the advantages for him, and then he's able to create or make decisions off of their advantages, that's where he looks better. He looks good when he's an off-ball player, when he's playing with players that can create advantages, and then he just has to make the decision off of their advantage. In this game, the Pistons don't have Ron Holland, and the player we're about to start talking about, Marcus Sasser, has been absolutely horrific. So right now, they don't have anybody on the floor that's creating any advantages, that's getting to the paint and creating the defense to react and rotate and to get them, to respect their offense. So it's hard for a player like him who feasts offensively off ball, off of other people's gravity, for him to really do anything else. So if you expected him to be like some ISO player or someone who can create for himself, you were mistaken. Like, I don't know what to tell you. That's not what he's going to be. He is clearly going to be a player that feasts off of other guys' gravity and is a really nice, potentially at his ceiling, an off-ball player like that. So it doesn't shock me at all that he's struggling within this game when he doesn't have anyone on the floor really creating advantages for other people. So that was just real quickly what I wanted to talk about when I said earlier. I'm going to reference Bobi a little later. But let's get into the next biggest Summer League reaction I got right now. Marcus Sasser has been terrible. There's no other way to put it. He has been flat out terrible. In the first game for the Detroit Pistons in Summer League, he was 0 of 6, 0 of 4 from deep, had 1 point, a turnover. And the main thing, and we'll get into what I saw from him in this first half. I'm not watching the second half. That's how bad the basketball was in the first half. But we'll talk about what I saw in the first half as well. But in this first game, by far above all the stats, if you watch the game, above the numbers, above the box score watching, the by far biggest takeaway with Marcus Sasser in this game, if the Pistons are planning, well, I guess there's two things that kind of looped into one. One is if the Pistons are planning to play him as a point guard, you might as well just cut him. Like, just let him be with another team. Let him have a chance to be, an off guard with another team and have a chance to have a good career in the NBA. If you're going to try to play him as a point guard again, like they're trying to do right now, just don't even bring him to the regular season. Don't bring him to the training camp. Trade him, cut him, do something, because he is not a point guard. He is not a point guard. So if that's what you're trying to make him and trying to make him be, it just don't even waste your time. You're wasting his time. You're wasting your time. You're wasting our time. Just stop. That's number one. Two, he is the inability to create rim pressure or get to the paint. This pressure that he's seeing in Summer League, he was not able to create any kind of separation. He wasn't able to really get the Pistons into any offense. He was struggling to get the Pistons into any sets because it was taking him about 8 seconds to get to half court. And then once he got to half court, they were really bothering him and he was losing the ball and was really unable to get them into offensive sets before like the 10-second mark. And by then, now you're creating late offense. So that happened throughout the entirety of the first game. So stop playing him as a point guard. He's not a point guard. And two, he's really struggling with any type of pressure in the Summer League right now. The amount of pressure that they're allowing the defenses to play on him, he can't create. And he can't create for his teammates either. That was by far my biggest reaction. He's struggling massively to get the offense running, to set up the offense, to create for others because he can't react with this pressure. That's number one. Number two, a lot of the weaknesses that we saw from his rookie season that I talked about in the podcast, you're still seeing in the Summer League. His inability to create for others. His inability to make, I don't want to say easy reads, but to make, NBA reads when it comes to playmaking wise. He has a couple of just like wide passes, especially in this first half. He had a really bad turnover in the first half of this Rockets game. One that he just basically gave it to the other team. Really bad turnover again in this first half. He has struggled mightily with any pressure in this Summer League. And overall, not even just against pressure, just overall a struggle. He's currently 0 of 3 in this game against the Rockets as I'm recording. So that means he's currently 0 of 9 through Summer League. 0 of 9. Mind you, this is an older rookie. This was an older rookie this past year the Pistons drafted. This isn't like an 18-year-old that you're developing. This isn't a 19-year-old from the G League that you're trying to develop. He is a 23-year-old second-year player. He was drafted last year, and everything said about him was that he is a ready now player. He's supposed to be a player ready to contribute immediately. He is an older prospect. He is 23 years old, playing against Summer League competition. The fact that he is struggling to do anything on the floor in Summer League is quite concerning. And I know that there's going to be overreactions across Summer League. It always happens every season, every Summer League. There's always overreactions. Trust me, you're going to see it. This is not an overreaction. You cannot be a 23-year-old second-year player struggling this bad against Summer League competition. I think it's being made very clear he can't play point guard. He cannot play point guard. And along with that, what's really, really concerning even more so is that the two-way contract the Pistons handed out to Denise Jenkins, he is flatly, just flatly outplaying Marcus Sasser. And part of that has to do, largely, a lot of it has to do with Marcus Sasser not playing well at all. But give Jenkins a lot of credit. He's looked pretty impressive through 2 games. Like, I actually like this two-way that they gave. He's playing really well. In this game right now, at halftime, he has 18 points, 5 of 9 shooting. Again, I'm not watching the rest of this game. It's really bad, but let's see. You guys will know how he finished off the game. But even in the first game, he was impressive to me. He jumped off the screen to me. 4 of 9 from the field, 10 points, 5 assists, 3 steals. He was active. I liked what I saw him in the first game. He's playing even better in the second game. So Marcus Sasser is being outplayed right now by someone the Pistons gave a 2-way contract to. Now, he was given the 2-way contract, right? Let me confirm that. I'm saying that, but each time I say it now, I'm like starting to question myself. No, yeah, he signed the 2-way. Okay, yeah. I had to confirm that real quick. I started to second guess myself for some reason. Either way, he's being outplayed by a 2-way contract guy, and he's really struggling against some elite competition. I don't know how that isn't concerning. That absolutely off the top instantly has to be concerning that your second-year player, who is an older prospect, is struggling this mightily against some elite competition. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. As I look down at my phone and look at the numbers, I just saw Jenkins scored again. He's 6 of 11 with 20 points, and Sasser just missed again. So now he started off second year Summer League 0 of 10. So, take that for what you will. I'm not taking this time to try to say that Marcus Sasser can't be an NBA player. That's not what I'm doing. I've just never been a big fan of Marcus Sasser for the Pistons, that is. He can be an NBA player elsewhere. But if they're going to continue to try and make him be a primary initiator and play him as a point guard, he flatly can't do that. He has no chance of doing that. I don't care what they try to say to you. He cannot be a point guard. He just cannot. And then off ball, if he's not draining his shots, if he's not sparking it from the field, it's hard to give reason to be playing a 6'1" undersized 2 guard if he's not sparking it from the outside. And he's not, like, that's been the concern since draft night last year with me. And the fact that he doesn't seem like he's improved upon areas from his rookie season in Summer League, and the fact also that he's struggling this bad. He's missed his first 10 shots against Summer League competition, and then he's struggling to get past half court. He's struggling to get into offensive sets. Like, it's concerning. It's concerning. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree, disagree with that assessment? Let me know in the comment section down below or over on Twitter at Kooky. When we come back, the Detroit Pistons have made a few assistant coach hirings. We're starting to see how J.B. Bickerstaff's coaching staff is going to look this season for the Detroit Pistons. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or you'll get your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices that you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guarantee Fit only available to U.S. customers at ebaymotors.com. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first list of every single day. We're free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. So as of right now, I don't know if the Pistons are adding anyone else to, or should I say, is J.B. Bickerstaff adding anyone else to his coaching staff? But we're starting to get an idea of what his staff's going to look like. Obviously, we know that Fred Vincent is going to be a very big, have a very big role with the Pistons. I don't know if he's going to technically be on the staff. I don't know if shooting coaches are technically on the staff or not. I don't know if that's when you say a coaching staff, is a shooting coach on the coaching staff? Is he sit on the bench or is he behind the bench? I'm not completely sure on that, to be honest. But I'm going to go ahead and assume he's part of the staff, like he's going to be on the bench somewhere. Anyways, Fred Vincent, obviously, we know he's going to be a huge role with this team. Absolutely huge role. They've referenced him probably more than any player on the roster. Like, Fred Vincent is by far the biggest acquisition maybe in Pistons history, the way they're making it out to be. So, like, he's going to be a big role here. Along with that, Jarrett Jack is being retained. He is the head coach of the Pistons Summer League. I think he's the only one coming back from Monty Williams' coaching staff. I've heard that the players really like Jarrett Jack from people I've talked to. The players really liked working with him. He has a really good relationship with a lot of the players. So it makes a lot of sense to me hearing that they were bringing him back, especially if he has a good relationship with the players. That's a former player, especially a former guard who can relate to some of the things that Cade has to do. You know, and not just Cade, obviously, but Jane Ivey and whoever other guard that will be on the team when the season starts. So it doesn't shock me that Jarrett Jack's coming back. He's created some good relationships with the players. And also JB Bickerstaff on the broadcast of the second game against the Rockets, he mentioned that he goes way back with Jarrett Jack. He actually said that Jarrett Jack had the best pre-draft workout he's ever seen. So take that for what it's worth. But yeah, JB Bickerstaff had a relationship with him going all the way back to his rookie season, playing days in the NBA. So Jarrett Jack, he's being retained. But we also have gotten two new additions to the Pistons coaching staff. You got Kevin Burleson. And if you recognize that last name, is because he is, I should say, the brother of former Detroit Lion Nate Burleson. Nate Burleson is one of my favorite all-time Lions. Like, I don't know if any of you guys play like Madden Ultimate Team, but a few years ago, they dropped a Nate Burleson Lions card, and I went and got it instantly. First of all, you guys, for those of you guys who have followed me for a minute and subscribed to my Twitch channel, you guys know I'm a gamer, big time gamer. But yeah, Nate Burleson is one of my all-time favorite Lions. He is the brother of Nate Burleson. Nate Burleson has said a lot of good things about Detroit. He even announced like a Detroit pick for the Lions a few years ago. He's spoken really highly of Detroit. And even when Kevin was hired, Nate came out on Twitter and was like, Detroit, you guys got another one, blah, blah. So I think it's pretty cool that the Burleson family, starting with Nate, continues to have establish some roots in Detroit and continue to say great things about Detroit. I just think it's pretty cool to have that family around. Nate was really cool for the Lions, and so to have that family here, me personally just think it's pretty cool. I think that's more so the kid in me that grew up watching Nate thinks it's cool to see his brother. That's probably what it is, but I think it's pretty cool. Kevin Burleson, he was the head coach of the Rio Grande. Did I say that wrong? Rio Grande Valley Vipers, the G League affiliate for the Rockets. He was the head coach of them since 2022, but he also was the assistant with the Minnesota Wolves G League team. He then was also an assistant in the NBA with Memphis and Minnesota. So he's been around the NBA for a while. He started off his career with Houston in 2014. So he's been around a while. So, I mean, Houston's G League team has had a lot of, a lot of good things said about them when it comes to developing. Obviously, everyone knows about their young core over in Houston. Really cool young core. So reading that, however it is, I think it's a cool signing just because of the Nate Burleson ties. So that's me, though. Going on to the next hiring, which I think made the bigger news, was obviously Luke Walton, the former head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers and the Sacramento Kings. Now, obviously, he was the assistant coach for the Golden State Warriors underneath Steve Kerr for a while. And obviously, he was a big name when he got hired to take over. I believe it was initially the Lakers when he left the Golden State Warriors after taking over for Steve Kerr for a large chunk of that season. They played really well. Luke Walton, a former head coach, a former assistant coach. He was also an assistant coach for JB Bickerstaff this past season in Cleveland. So again, another former player, a guy who has head coaching experience, a guy who has assistant coach experience in the NBA. Reading that however you want. JB definitely is bringing in some guys that he has some connections with, like I said, with Luke Walton, like bringing back a Jarrett Jack. But bringing in some experienced guys that, we've heard that the main purpose of this team or the main purpose of this offseason and this season is to develop guys. So it makes sense to me that they brought in Kevin Burleson when he has, spent the majority of his time as, he started out as a player development coach, and now he's been coaching G League teams, where the main priority of the G League is to kind of develop players, develop programs. So it makes sense with that. So I understand both these signings, but I don't really have any big takeaways from them. I think we made a mistake last offseason where we tried to read a lot into the Pistons signing like Steven Silas to the assistant coaching staff with Monty, and we made a huge deal out of that. I'm not going to read too much into these, but I think it's cool that we're starting to see how JB Bickerstaff's coaching staff is starting to round out. I still, me personally, would have loved to see him get an offensive-minded guru on his staff, which with some of the talking points about Bickerstaff in Cleveland was that his offense wasn't that creative. So I would have loved to see an offensive guru join his staff, and maybe one still does, but that's just my personal opinion. But that's all I've got for you guys today, really. Let me know what you guys think about all that in the comment section down below or over on Twitter @KukaHill. I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first list of every single day. We're free and available on all your podcast platforms. Hit that subscribe button to the YouTube channel. Leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Stay safe out there. Till next time, peace out.